girlies, and welcome to the Goddess Evolution online retreat. I'm your host, Shantana Telise, and I'm here today with our special guest, Laurie Wheeler, where we will be revealing the secrets on how to channel the divine to heal your past lives and timelines. Laurie, I am so excited to have you here. Let's jump right in.
Oh, thank you for having me on. I'm really excited today. Thanks.
Of course, this is amazing. So, can you tell us about what it is that you do?
Well, in the nutshell, I work with energy. Now, that's quite a broad spectrum because many people do. But I am a receptor, a translator, and communicator of energy. So I use one aspect is called psychometry, which if I put my hand nearby or put my hand on something, I can receive the information and then I translate it as it makes its way through my brain. And so I've been doing this probably for over 30 years, but I've kind of always had this gift for quite a while that I remember anyway. And so when so in that aspect, I can kind of channel many different entities, interdimensionals. I can channel the body, so it's medical intuition. Yeah, it's quite a gamut of listening and then translating. Yeah.
Wow, so you're like a master computer.
That's never been said, but I kind of like that idea. Yeah. Well, master. Wow, I think I always feel like a baby in this. There's so much to be learned, so much unfolding that it just brings you back to 0 point again. And it's like, wow, it's just wow, to me. So, yeah.
Amazing. So, how did you get started in this work?
Well, so I've been channeling Yeshua, Jesus, since I was 5, and we would have conversations when my mom would bring me to church. I was raised Catholic, as many have been, and I'd have conversations with him, and he would talk to me, and then as time went on in my life, actually, he's revealed himself in many different ways, and told me about previous time when actually he was alive walking the earth, or one aspect of himself was that I was part of a circle of those that followed and were close to him as allies to him. So he feels so very personal to me. And then I began, I'll go back. So in my 30s, I built a house in New York State on native burial ground. Didn't know it at the time, but I got a whammy and a rude awakening, I say. But it opened me up to my capabilities. And then I started to really remember, as we're all remembering more and more these days. And it just taught me how to communicate. I crossed over spirits. I had multi-spirits come in and teach me things. One of my great teacher was Sitting Bull way back when. He was a great teacher, and I was very connected to shamanic journeying and practices and the wisdom of the native people, and that kind of brought me into it. But then the doors opened up and more capabilities and so on and so forth. It just grew from that point. So yeah. And then I learned to bilocate also at that moment in time, and bilocation is about being in the here and now in the current dimension that you're in, but then also going to another timeline and simultaneously. And that was kind of a cool aspect to learn also. So yeah, it's been helpful in my healing practices too.
Wow. So, at first, how did you deal with being on a burial ground?
Oh, well, it wasn't just burial ground too. So it was toxic water. We had a well. It made us very sick. And I think that also was really, it's hard to say it was a gift. Sometimes those things that are so traumatic, we can only look at them as gifts in a way. And so, yeah, it created a lot of challenges in that physically, health-wise. but simultaneous, I lost my memory. I lost the ability to remember how to do things or how to go places or old memories in that. And so I would have to draw a map, how to go to my town, things like that. But what it did is that part really helped me like access my intuitive, my high self, and therefore opened me to all that exists outside of that and connected to. So that's when everyone started to come in slowly and begin to talk to me. So yeah, that's how it went, you know.
Crucial part of your journey.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So do you have any guides that you work with specifically now? Any beings?
I have actually many guides. And I don't even see all of them. I know when people read, sometimes for me, they tell me there's a vast amount of light behind me and those that are working with me, and I can feel them, but I don't always see everyone. But I do work with a group of goddesses: Isis, Mary Magdalene, Mother Mary, Sophia, Kuan Yin, numerous goddesses. Sometimes they come in collective, sometimes individual. I work a lot with Mary Magdalene. She's, you know, in the forefront right now with our divine feminine, getting us, helping us to become awake. I work with and have been for quite a while, working with the emissaries of light, a massive high consciousness, just energy, no realm where you can see or anything. They're just there. One part of them calls itself, that is my connection, Megalithicon. And I love that because that, you know, it's massive. And so it is my go-to. I work with Mega a lot and have channeled many times. It's given a lot of great information. I work with certain Egyptian deities. Horus comes to me, and I channel the Sphinx, and she is awesome. She has taken me for many rides, helped me develop myself, helped me to learn who I am, and helping me to remember my time back in Egypt, which I'll just give a little hit on this. We are going to Egypt. I'm taking a retreat in November this year, and we're going to do 11:11 in King's Chamber. So that should be very cool. And I can't wait to feel the energies there, touch them, just experience it, you know, come more alive, come into where we need to be and bring forth that information. So yeah, and that's probably just a few of them. I can't remember everybody that comes in all the time.
Wow, that's a lot. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So do you, for your own personal channeling practice, is it something you do daily? Like, how does it work for you?
Yeah, well, I definitely connect. I do my meditation, but it's like not even a meditation. It's just immediate where I need to go, who I need to speak with. I usually begin by just asking who of those higher frequencies wants to come in and share whatever their wisdom is or what I may need to know, or you know, relay guidance to me. And so, but then sometimes it's connecting to an extraterrestrial or an interdimensional, like the Arcturians, or lately it's been the Syrians have been coming in, and with this work with DNA, they're unfolding a lot of information for me to relate to other people. I work in these galactic harmonious codes that have been given, and I transmit them to people, and it's unlimited amount of information that comes through for people during this experience, and it will take them through prior times or other timelines, and it will help them also. I had one gentleman, young guy, he went into the underworld, and Toth showed up, and I worked with Toth also, so it was kind of like a fun thing that he experiences this and I did. It was a real nice connection, and we went through the underworld and helped him understand, you know, what his mission, what his work here is. His work is with men, and helping them come into who they are. And I love working with him. He really gets it. And so, you know, each person coming into who they are, what they're doing, it's deep, it's intrinsic, it's helping people really claim their power and their abilities, because we need these abilities now more than ever. So, and they're always different. I never know where these codes are going to go, what they're going to do. They read like a book, and they tell me, so they were given by 5 interdimensionals, Lyran, Andromedan, Arcturian, Pleiadian, and Sirius. And they came together and they put these codes together. And like I said, they read like a book. So you can't start at the end and understand what the beginning is. You kind of have to move through it in a certain way. And there's just, it's chock filled with like fabulous information. Now they're talking about healing, and Sirius is coming in a time when I guess when I was on Sirius and working in the lab on bioplasma and our biology back in that time. And it's talking about how healing is, and it's talking about bioluminescence, and there are creatures that have this capability. And it's talking about how the regeneration, much like stem cells regenerate, but this is a little bit different. And what I love is that I'm working with this quantum biologist, where he's a research scientist, Dr. Glenn Rain. And what I don't know or understand, I can take the info of what I receive, and he can kind of help me pull it a little bit more together, which is really helpful because I may not know it all for sure. But it explains it, and we're opening it up, you know, like let's just open it up. This mankind needs this right now. We're looking for it. We're thirsty for it. So it's exciting.
Amazing. Are you Syrian?
No, oh well, yes, that is part of my makeup, my background, yes. But Arcturian also, both like a real, on off kind of thing, depending on what's going on for me right now. Yeah. So very connected to Lemuria also. I lived in Hawaii, and yeah, very connected there as well. So
I'm Syrian too.
are you really?
A little
Oh,
bit.
awesome, awesome. I love it. Great beings. I love working with them.
Right? I find their energy is very powerful. Where when you work with like Pleiadians, it's a lot more gentle. Syrians are like, no, we're gonna kick your ass and have fun doing it.
They're really serious and go after it. Yes, and that's the thing. I think when people think of interdimensional like that, they don't realize they're very different. Each culture, I'll call it, so very different. Each one within also. Like when I work with the light beings who come in and channel light language through me, there's about 6 different ones that come in, and you can hear the difference when they come in. You feel the difference. It's like talking to each individual person. They are their own being, and it's fascinating because I don't know if we really think about it so much that way,
I don't think so. But I
Yeah.
like the difference because it's like, oh, some are just super easy. I could hold a space for them for hours, channel them for hours because they're just like gentle. And then others, it's like, okay, I'm an hour in, I'm done.
Yeah, yeah.
So potent.
It's great. Yeah. Oh, lovely. Wow.
So, what benefits have you personally experienced from channeling them?
Oh my gosh. Sometimes it affects me so much. I get this energetic response. I may not even know what I'm remembering, but energetically I'm experiencing it, and I know I'm cued in. And I get that, especially working with these codes and certain interdimensionals. It just bubbles up. I'll begin to shed some tears. I can feel the depth of it at a place like that. I don't feel all the time on, it's a real deep place. And they've given me, oh my gosh, so much information, and helped me access my own wisdom, my own memory, my own self, because, well, like if I go back to when I, lost my memory and all, what do you have? You lose yourself. It was an identity crisis in a sort of way. And so they've brought me through to learn about my own self. Who am I? I'm not just this body. I am this being. And when they tell me, and they tell this to everybody, and I want everybody to know this, we are magnificent souls when we know who we really are without the stuff, without the baggage, without the pain and the hurt and everything that we are here to experience on earth. When you are just experiencing your real soul self, when I take people there, it's like they don't want to leave because it just feels so good to know who you are. But we are learning that through the stuff too, right? So multi ways of accessing that and letting go at the same time. So I've learned a lot, or what I say, remembering a lot. Yeah. And I love bringing people there also. It is just such my honor to do that for people.
Wow. So speaking of people, how can they work with you?
Well, I do different variables. I mean, and I can do packages too. For sometimes somebody comes with a health issue. So I'm a homeopath of 30 years now. I went through all that training. I've done many, many cases of, people will come oftentimes with something physical. And then it'll lead into looking for that main thread that runs through the physical, mental, and emotional. There's a main thread. And when you find it and you find a remedy that matches, oh my gosh, the magic that happens in a person's life. It's awesome. We come into who we are better without, clearing this away. And I do a specific type of sensation method. It's really deep and it's a beautiful way to do homeopathy. And then I also do the channeling. I do past life and between lives, soul regression. So past life, you go to another timeline, has to do with your current life. But in a between lives, you go to meet your counsel, you go to the Akashic records, and your counsel is so important. We don't even, most times I'll say something to people explaining this, and they'll be like, wow, I've never met my counsel. Oh my gosh, counsel's so interesting. So, that opens up a whole aspect. There's the channeling, there's the codes. Yeah, I just, I love working with people. Yeah. So that's kind of it in the skinny of it all.
Thank you. What advice would you give someone that wants to learn how to do channeling or but feels unsure about it?
Yeah, well, we do all channel, and we're all intuitive. Some have not opened that door as much as others. And what I find most often that inhibits people from all aspects is trust. Trust. They haven't pursued it enough to trust it. So start small. We talk about the parking space or something little like that, start with that. And then when you access, because everything comes through the higher self being who we are, remaining in spirit form, connected to everything in the multiverse. And so it's your go-to. You should have a relationship with your higher self. It's your best buddy, always bringing that information and energy. When you do that, and then you tell your higher self, what is the next level I want to learn to channel? Your high self will bring, because it will open enough, raise your frequency just enough that an outer being of high vibration. So we want to ask for power, protection, and support anytime you channel. Because if you're not adept at it, you want to make sure it is of the highest regard for you, because there is a lot that goes on out there, So if you're not real adept at it, You just want to be clear who's coming in at that moment. And you can ask them to validate for you. Always ask for validation if this is something you don't do much of also. And then work with one being. You're not going to get to the vastness. Work with one. Become real close with that energy. Get to know them. They are there to help you. Your master guide also. You may want to channel that master guide. Master guide, that word master, very important. They've gone through all the channels of learning and they're now in spirit form. They're your guide that has been with you since the beginning of your origin. That guide knows you, has been through everything with you. So you may want to channel your master guide also, and then go on from there. But practice, practice, practice. It's not as difficult. Get out of your own head and just listen. Just listen. Ask a question. It's going to come through one of your senses in some way. Listen for it. May not be a billboard. It could be very gentle.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. That was amazing. I love that advice. Can you share with the audience your free gift?
Well, my free gift. So I did pull out something that I thought might be helpful. It's actually a little information on channeling divine guidance. That's our topic today. And so I have here some steps. Well, I don't know if you'd like me to send them to them or would you like me to run through them? I don't know how our time is.
Down below, they can click that link. So you guys make sure you click the link to claim your free gift.
Yeah, definitely. And then I'm happy to send it to you. There's a list of 5 different keys to learning how to channel your higher guidance there.
Oh,
Divine
beautiful.
guidance.
That is perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can you end us off with a healing, a message, whatever it is that you feel called to do?
Yeah, what I can do is, let's see if I have, okay. So I brought some codes. They're mini size. They usually are on a large paper, but I brought them small to put in my pocket. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to transmit. Now, sometimes the transmission, there's verbal to it, and sometimes it's just energetic. But I promise if you just breathe into it a couple deep breaths, this will go and transmit to you, and it will open whatever at the very moment that you need to receive. And that's what's so beautiful oftentimes from the higher energies is they meet us at the moment in which we need that information. They're not going to go higher or bring something else that you're not going to understand. They're just going to bring just what you need. And they know that. So I'd love to channel and transmit this. Okay. So the codes, they welcome all into the arms of this most beautiful energy, this light that surrounds us, is in us, that we are of the light. They ask and remind us that we are light. And oftentimes we forget. We oftentimes, as mankind, as being human, that we don't know ourselves enough and that we are challenged by the emotional, the trauma, all that is here on earth, that we sit in the light, that we call upon the light. We may not see it. We may not even know it is there. It is always there. It is always with us because we are the light. These codes remind us of this. And those that have put these together wish for us to know ourselves better, that we can surpass that which we are challenged by, and learn to increase and elevate our resonance, our divine nature, connecting through our high self to the other planes of energy that surround us, that we access or can access. They share with us much information that connects and turns the light on for our DNA. Those strands that are quiet until the time when they should awaken us to them, to remember, to become more aware of who we are, our capabilities, and what we have chosen through a contract here on our earth in this form of embodiment. As there are other places we exist simultaneous to this embodiment. Pay attention, because the signs are subtle, but they are clear if you are tuned. So much the way we may tune an instrument, we must tune ourselves. And when we use our voice to tune ourselves, we move through octaves and we move through resonance. And in this way, we can elevate ourselves to access that which is necessary. This divine light, as it awakens you, it shares information and it opens your information, and the two meet, and you will hold this divine light within. And so it is. May you be blessed.